My name is Chris McPhee, and I help people get more of what they want from their business. I do that by helping them implement a complete and proven system to do three things we call vision, traction, and healthy. And I'm here today with Steve Krushelniski from Mission X. So, Steve, why don't we kick off? Question number one is give me your elevator pitch. What do you do for your customers? What problem do you solve? Or what value do you provide?
Yeah, excellent. Thanks. Mission X is a work management system that allows you to scale. Without Mission X, companies are forced to use multitude of overly complex applications. The result is that there's countless hours wasted in meetings, just trying to get data into other applications. And this keeps you doing from what you really want to do, and that's to grow your business. So in Mission X, there's a number of things that we do in one platform. So you got your proposals, proposal tracking, project management, your bids, your financials, time leaving, reporting, and so on, resource management. And this comes ready for you, just out of the box. Whether you're a small team running on a single project or you're like an enterprise solution, enterprise running 10,000s of project, Mission X just works for you. And it's guarantees to boost your productivity, reduce overhead, and it scales effortlessly. Simply you just bid, plan your work, budget, deliver, and repeat.
What is, or is there a trigger event that causes a prospective customer to potentially want to work with Mission X?
Yeah, there is definitely a trigger event. And typically what happens is when, a business leader realizes that it's becoming more difficult to compete because there's just so many things that they're wasting time on, like admin work, unproductive meetings, and so on and so forth. So an example of this is we had a conversation with a CEO, and he was saying that my people are telling me that we're just busy. We're more busy than we ever have been. And he looks at it and he goes, "What? I don't see the revenue increasing." So what that's telling us is that employees that just have a lot of work. So I think leaders get really frustrated about that, and then they come looking for solutions.
So then question three is what then makes you unique? So when they're looking for solutions, what sets you apart from alternatives?
There's two really major things. One is the tech itself. The platform is very sophisticated. AI underpins a lot of what's going on underneath the hood, but it's also very simple to use. One of our customers mentioned to us, he goes, the experience is like if Apple would have built something for enterprise. So it's extremely powerful and extremely simple to use. The other thing that sets us apart is we recognize that change is difficult. The majority of IT projects fail. So we take an approach with our customers that we have a solid plan to go from concept to seeing it a successful project within the organization. And I think those two things are the big thing that set us apart.
So you've already kind of got into question number four, but could you talk a little bit more about what a typical project engagement looks like once a customer starts working with Mission X?
Typically, the first step is just a conversation. And the conversations would be about things that the customer wants to change, the frustrations that they have, the lack of ability to decrease some of the mundane manual work. Basically, what they're saying is they want to become more productive. They want to improve employee satisfaction and customer experience. That typically then leads to a demo, and what follows after that becomes lots of fun. A lot of times we get the response of, "I didn't realize that was possible," or "This is extremely different than what I thought it was going to be." So then we can start imagining what their business could look like in the future and how they could run off of our platform. And what that then does is that kind of acts as the starting point of, okay, well, there's the guide to where we want to see it for a successful project. So we start outlining the success criteria. And when we implement, we start working towards that. And we just kind of like a total hands-on approach. We had one customer put like $50 million worth of projects in a couple hours on a Saturday. So it becomes really easy to use, easy to install, and easy to onboard. And we just help the customer through that whole process.
Great. And so I guess question five is what's next for you in Mission X?
Our focus this year is going to be grow the business through long-term relationships with satisfied customers. And then we are going to raise some capital, and we're going to scale the company later this year.
And the bonus question is, I know you're new to the book Traction, but so far in what you've gone through, anything resonating with you?
I have been reading the book Traction. By the way, you sent it to me. Thank you very much. I want to give you a shout out because when I received the book, you mailed it to me and there was a personalized note inside of the book. And that was a really nice touch. It really made me feel cared for. So thank you very much again. And I like how the book is there's a pragmatic approach to building the company. And in chapter 1, I believe they talk about the vision, people, data, your issues, process and tractions. And like that kind of really resonated me because I think the first part about building a business, you have to have vision, you got to get right people on board. Not all data is useful, but the book is suggesting that you get data that to be able to measure your success or where you're at. So those are the things that really caught my eye so far.
That's great. Well, it's been great learning more about you and Mission X, and best of luck.
Thank you very much for your time,
All
Chris.
right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.